Holy shit, I'm outside. It's like I've escaped being miserable for a little bit. So I decided to go hiking, and in true fashion, I did so on a whim and completely unprepared. Like, I have no backpack, I have no water, I do have my navigation, but it barely works because some dickhead had to redesign shit, because we can't just be happy with things that work, we gotta improve upon them. Even though that improvement is a hot pile of horse shit that's probably gonna get me killed someday if I rely on that app. Anyways, bitching aside, decided to get out today, and I kind of got to thank Steve and Samantha for kind of snapping me out of the funk I've been in. And you know, I woke up today fairly inspired to create and to with enough energy to do shit. And we're at Three Falls Wood in the fall, so we're gonna see. I like walking through the woods in like autumn, even though we're not like anywhere near peak colors. It's kind of nice and shit. Also, the reason you're getting a video is Timothy and Ralph made contributions to the channel. Particularly Timothy was very generous, and decided to get out here and do some work. Hello.
How you doing?
Doing all right.
Wonderful. Can't do too bad on a day like that.
Yeah, this is we gotta get them while we can, you know.
Yeah. Enjoy.
You too. Place gets so beautiful in the fall, I just gotta say. It's like a whole nother experience. I always check out this cliff, because it wouldn't be a hike if I didn't endanger my life in some fucking strange, obscure way. Not that it, you know, after being out west, it's really not a big deal anymore. Oh, it's been a while. Alright, slight adrenaline was good. But yeah, between Steve and you guys, like, really, I don't know, you're being very patient with me and tolerant of all the stupidity I do over the years. So I was inspired to bring the camera with me on this hike, which I probably wouldn't have done if it wasn't for Steve snapping me out of my funk. Can't find the fucking trail though. There. So one of the dangers of hiking in the fall is the ground gets covered with leaves and makes it harder to find the trail. It's alright, I got GPS and shit. And I want to kind of contemplate a truck driving-less future. You know, is there hope? You know, I mean, I gotta admit, you guys are inspiring me with the content creation. You know, I know it's not long-term sustainable. I know there's moments where I can make a living at it, and then there's moments when it's nothing. But I don't know. You've given me a little bit of hope that I can survive this shit. You know, I'll never be wealthy doing it, obviously, but I don't need to be honest. I just want to live my life. You want to know the really dumb part about me hiking right now is I'm wearing normal indoor sneakers, which, yeah, if my feet get wet, that's that. And the tread on them is questionable. So, alright. Had to make it some kind of adventure. So it's not all sunshine and rainbows today. You know, I'm still very disappointed in the way things have been playing out. But then I realize there's always the woods. There's always nature. And that try as they may, they might not ever be able to take this away from me. Because all it requires is your feet and a general lack of stupidity. The second being questionable with me. So on to other interesting things I've observed over the past few days is General Colin Powell is no longer with us. Sorry for your loss. But it does raise an eyebrow or two with the fact that he was stated, even though cancer was a factor, that he had died of COVID-related complications, while at the same time being fully jabbed. So, just wanted to point that out to all the people who think I'm a fucking nutcase. That, if it worked, didn't work for him. You know, and even if you make the argument, well, it was, and believe me, they will. And even if you make the argument that it was the cancer and not the coof, then you could make the same argument for every person that has lost their life and been labeled the coof. Because you have no way to say either way whether it was the coof or the cancer or whatever, heart disease, diabetes, old age. I mean, 84. You know, I can understand you question it when it's your 50s, even 60s, but when you're in your 80s and you pass away, isn't there like a certain degree of, oh, well, he's old? Somehow we've gotten it into our heads that we live to be 90 or, 100. I'm like, I don't know what planet you're from, but if you make it past your 60s, you won. It doesn't matter at that point whether you die at 70 or whether you die at 110. Every day is luck from that point on, the way I see it. So, and like I said, if you make it past the 7-0, you are past the average life expectancy, especially in a country where health is shit. So, just, I want to point out the obvious, that more and more evidence just keeps popping up that the jab is nothing more to make money. That's all it is. Some people want to go extra far and say they're putting chips in your ass and shit. If only they were that fucking devious and smart. No, it's just fucking money. That's all it is. How much money can we make off the latest fucking emergency? And it's opportunistic, and it's not going to change anytime soon. So, but nevertheless, the mandates are still coming, thanks to Joe Biden, which leads me to another observation that happened today when when against my better judgment, I glanced at Facebook and someone posted someone else's thoughts, as in they screen grabbed and, you know, posted it where it said that the price of gasoline, this is I'm going to kind of quote it, is set by taxes, the price of crude oil, and some other shit, none of which is in the control of the president. And then, of course, in the comments, they're like, all these Trump crazy motherfuckers, bro. You know, they're deranged, they're mentally challenged, and like, really, have you looked around? You know, and I didn't go in and rebut it because I wanted to do it here. Because I know out there somewhere still watching me, even though I piss you off on a regular basis and talk shit, is somebody that's clinging to these same ideals that Biden can do no wrong because he's in the correct tribe. And anyways, in the comments, they're making fun of Trumpers and all of that. And I'm sitting here, I'm like, there's so many arguments that could be made, you know, between the continuous money printing, to be fair, which also happened under Trump, but has continued with no caution whatsoever under the Biden administration, leading to inflation. So in my book, both administrations have a little bit of responsibility for our current inflation situation. And but yeah, failed to remember that very recently Biden had put a big fucking kick in the nuts to the Keystone Pipeline, which would have brought domestic oil into the fray, which would have lowered fuel prices significantly. So not only did he put a stop to that, he gave a thumbs up to Putin doing his pipeline for Europe, so there's going to be a big Russian control of European energy, and forced us to be more reliant on OPEC, which of course is hiking the price of oil as we speak. You know. But that would require actual fucking thinking to realize why the fuel prices have gone to where they are and will probably continue to go as the value of the dollar continues to fall. But that being said, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't drown him in the pool. Isn't that how that say? I don't know. Maybe I fucked that up. Sorry. Anyways, I just, I wanted to rattle some of that. I had a good laugh at the cognitive dissonance, Nobody wants to admit that they elected a bad president. And even though there are some Democrats that have, by the way, and I respect those people that are like, look, I didn't know what I was getting into, I just hated Trump. At least you're honest. I appreciate that. But the people that are just like, oh, Biden's great, those are the people that you don't want voting. In my book, because look at the mess we're in. So, wow, we got some good water flow going on, and you can actually see it. We're working our way down there, even though my footwear means I can't really cross any wet crossings. and shit. Does feel good to get out here again though. Does kind of wash off some of the gloom that I've accumulated since I returned from my road trip out west. Yeah, I realize this video is all over the place, but I hadn't planned on making a video. I didn't even plan on hiking today. Well, listen to all the gunfire. They're being prepared for what's to come. But just figured I'd do a walk and talk in the woods today. I don't really have a point. You know, as for my illness, clearly I'm doing better. So my coughing fits are a lot less now, a lot less often. And I am coughing up some shit, so there's that. So I think my immune system has won the day with $0 spent on pharmaceuticals. And a whole lot of sleeping though. I mean, the fatigue was a little out of hand. So what part of that could have been depression? I don't know. And I don't know if I had the coof, and I never will know. You know, logic says that I probably did. But I could be wrong. I think I can get down here. Let's see if we can do this. I think this is the trail down. I mean, it kind of looks like a trail. Let me look at my all trails. I mean, it says further up, so maybe go that way a little bit. That looks a lot steeper there. So, just gonna go up a little bit. Let's see. Looks like a right-hand turn up here. Looks like my GPS is off a little bit. I don't know. I'll probably get lost. Sorry for any wind noise, by the way, but you're lucky I even fucking brought this camera. And shit. Wow, look at that. Anybody hungry? I'm sure they're perfectly not poisonous. Incredibly nice day today too, for being this close to the winter. It's a whole lot of gunfire. So I'm trying to go down to the bottom and then cross back to the falls, because as wet as things look, there should be some waterfall action. A little bit of deadfall. So in other news, someone I dated is no longer with us. By dated, I mean I went out on like 2 dates, if I remember right. And she was keto and had lost a lot of weight. And I know a lot of people like to think that keto somehow protects you from everything. And I don't know the details, but I do know that she worked in the medical field and in a COVID ward situation, but has passed away inexplicably 2 days ago at age 44. I wasn't super close with her. In fact, I hadn't heard from her since our 2 dates that we went on. And it's very sad. Clearly someone who would have been jabbed. So it does bring a lot of questions forward. Wow, that trail is a lot easier than the last. Wow, I was doing it the hard way so many times here. But, you know, I doubt we'll find any details out. Because like I said, I wasn't close with her. But whenever you hear somebody passing at age 44, something ain't right, you know. And that is indeed younger than me, slightly. And it's getting old. It's really getting old watching people pass away that are younger than me, and that shouldn't be something I encounter until I'm in my 60s. Unfortunately, it's happening in my 40s. I'm sure some of you who are older can relate, but, you know, it does get you thinking about your own mortality and the mortality of everyone around you. Wow, they got pretty deep flow going here. Things to think about. See, we used to, you know, about a year or so ago, somebody passes away at that age. Oh, that was the coof. And now I find myself going, well, did they have the jab? You know, these are things to question, you know. And what can we do, you know? I mean, what can we do? I can't change anyone's mind. Everyone's got to make their own decision on this. I've made mine, that's for sure. And I feel 100% confident of the decision I've made. Even though it means I'm going to be unemployable. At least to corporate America. Why does this feel different than the last time I was here? I know I'm getting to a difficult area given my footwear too. Hopefully I don't end up in the drink. Ah, the sounds of nature and gunfire. I've been here so many times where this was all dried out. And now look at it, it's full. And normally I would walk down there and walk up there, but it looks like I gotta take this route to get across. Thanks to some flooding. So let's make that shit happen. Yeah, these sneakers aren't cutting it. I've already damn slipped and fell twice. This is a little precarious here. Didn't I? fun stuff. Sounding like some pretty loud falls right now. And given my footwear, I might not be able to cross to get to see them. At least not up close. I mean, there might be a spot to cross over here, but my shoes are the opposite of water resistant. They're water absorbent. I mean, you can see the falls because there's less foliage, but I'm thinking I might not be able to get across. But we'll see. I mean, it's probably doable right here. But one misstep, and I got wet feet for a mile and a half. Whew. That was like some ninja shit. I made it without getting my feet wet. It was questionable because I didn't know if that rock would give when I hopped on it. But worth the risk, of course. And of course, it's not the end of my risks. Oh. Didn't die. Wow, they're on fire this time. That looks climbable. Not gonna risk it though. Not with my current footwear. So I did a thing. I just climbed that. And now at the top of the third falls. Don't know if it was a wise decision because it's in between two falls. But I'm up to the top. And that's a lot easier than the trail that. But the hard part's going to be getting across now. I don't want to have to go back down. I mean, I could if I had to, but I'm kind of sandwiched between two falls now. I mean, if I had to, I could take my shoes off. I should be able to make it over there without getting wet. It's like a secret way up, though. Found something new. Pretty cool. So I gotta get over there. I mean, there's a leap of faith there. Oh, I could do that. I could even do it with one hand, I think. Hello. And I made it to the top. And on the right side to where I don't have to cross again. Yeah, I saw it and I was like, I shouldn't risk it. And then I'm like, but it looks like it might be easier than the way before, where you could easily slip and fall and break your fucking skull. There were a lot of handholds. There was like gnarly roots and shit. That's the very top falls there. It felt good. It did. I felt alive climbing. For sure. Just kind of the point of coming out here. So let's face it, I felt like a fucking walking corpse since I got back from the west. And I think this just gave me that little bit of reminder. I mean, it's a local park. It's not like I'm conquering new frontiers or anything, but it's, and I got a little dirty. It's good. Wasn't wearing a pack or anything. Great. So now I actually did a loop, because usually I turn it into an out and back because I'm afraid to climb. But that climbing area was definitely easier. Because there's another one on the other side of this, which is normally easier to get across, but it's pretty full. I mean, probably get across there. But it's pretty full right now. Moral of the story is, it's really easy to look at an obstacle and turn back and take the long way back to where you started, or you risk falling down a cliff and breaking every bone in your body and being wheelchair bound for the rest of your life. But if none of that shit happens, then you get there quicker and you find some new shit along the way. Look at that. Nature always has a lesson for me. And I feel like a lot of people could learn from that lesson. And I'm just as guilty. I'm not sitting here. There's plenty of times when I probably missed out because I didn't want to take the risk. And as risk averse as society has definitely become, to the point where it's causing people to lose their jobs. Think of what you're missing out and how long it's going to be to get back to where you started, let alone make progress. So, look at that little wisdom from nature. Who knew? But what the fuck do I know, right? If you like this fucking video and you want me to make more fucking videos, please like, subscribe, but that ain't enough. Show your friends. Maybe they like assholes running around with beards swearing. Maybe they hate Biden. I don't know. Something. It's gotta be something we got in common. Pretty sure we all eat like shit now, right? But yeah, share it with them. Because Susan ain't gonna do it. So my channel will never grow. I'm lucky it hasn't shrunk anymore than it has. I feel like that's my trail out. Yep, that's my trail out. But if you want to know when I'm going to do shit, head to ScottTheTruckDriver.com, sign up for my free email list. And while you're there, given that I can no longer just hop at a truck and pile up money, if you would like to support the channel, support the work I do in creating this content, like I'll have to watch this entire fucking video, edit it, you know, do all of that. That takes hours and hours of time. And it's nice to know that some of you guys care about my content enough to financially support that endeavor. But if you want to, you can head to ScottTheTruckDriver.com, leave a tip in the virtual tip jar. Also, there is PayPal. I'll link directly there if you don't want to go through the tip jar, if it looks too shitty for you. I don't know. This week I'm going to work on getting an updated Bitcoin link for those of you in the crypto space. I know somebody wanted me to do BAT. I looked into BAT. There's a point of weakness with BAT in that they want me to go through a specific exchange just to be able to move my BAT out of the wallet, and I don't like that. So I haven't invested any time or energy and effort into making BAT an option. But you can always go to an exchange, convert your BAT to Bitcoin, and then just send it. You know, it's not a big deal there. But for those of you who have let me know that you value what I do, even though there's times I question it myself, you know, thank you for everything and shit, and giving me hope that maybe I won't starve to death as long as I can pick up a camera and run my fucking mouth, perhaps. So that's it. It's my trail out. Didn't die. Had a little bit of adrenaline, had a little bit of adventure, got a little dirty, climbed. It's great. Have a nice motherfucking day and shit. And let's go, Brandon!